Hello, everybody. This is Zach Said again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I'm honored to have the latest athletic legend to hail Wytheville, UVA graduate, baseball player, and Pulaski River Turtles pitcher, Avery Mabe. Thank you so much, Avery, for being on the show with me again.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you on again, and it was an honor to meet you at the last game of the River Turtle season. Another fellow Wythevillian who works at the park, Peyton Rigney, I said, is there any way, maybe I can meet with Avery after the game, and we could get a picture, and maybe I can get him to sign a ball for me. She said, wait a minute, I'll go get him. And she went right in and pulled you out of wherever you were. So I hope it wasn't too awkward meeting me in that way. I hadn't expected to do it quite that soon, but
yeah, wasn't any issue at all. I was just drinking a cup of coffee in there before the game, before I had to be out on the field. So I was just killing time mostly.
And I guess this is the last season you will play with the River Turtles, correct?
I'm not sure yet, but more than likely it probably will be.
Yeah. So there may be a chance of you playing with them again.
Yeah, I still have 2 more years of college eligibility left. So
is that right? Okay, I didn't realize that's how it worked.
So I guess potentially next summer I could play there, but I'm not sure what my plans are yet.
Right. Okay. So this season was not a great season for the River Turtles. But as I said, I'm glad you were there, and I'm glad I had a chance to meet you anyway. It doesn't look like, from what I have seen, that you've had a lot of playtime this year with the team. Have you played a lot this season? It seemed like you were much busier last season with the River Turtles.
Yeah, I was on the same routine roughly as I was last year. I got there a couple weeks later this year, where we went to Omaha, Virginia.
Yeah.
And then two of my outings were canceled, like right after they started, so they didn't go into like the stats because the games weren't finished.
Right.
One game I pitched 1 inning, and then the main water line in Pulaski had broke, so they had to send everyone out because they didn't have water at the field.
Oh wow, the water line broke.
We had that same issue for one of the games that started the year before too.
Oh man. So. Well, leave it to Pulaski, huh? You also, as you said, you were not a part of River Turtle season in the beginning this year because you were busy with other things, busy with about as big plans as a collegiate baseball player could be. As a player for UVA, you were in the Collegiate World Series. You want to talk a little bit about that and what that meant to you? Obviously, I would guess that that's probably the peak of your athletic career.
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't get to play at all throughout the entire postseason, but it was great. Just great to be along for the ride. The atmosphere was unbelievable. We played some really good baseball, especially in the regional and super regional. And then got to Omaha, 2 1 games to Florida, who ended up being the runner-up to LSU and to TCU.
So you didn't get to play.
No, I didn't.
Oh man, that's. But you were still just excited just to be there.
Yeah, so an awesome experience.
So. Another awesome thing, in addition to your athletic career, you finished your degree in 3 years, and that was because of an injury that you had in your freshman year of college. Can you explain how were you able to pull that off in 3 years? That's amazing endurance.
Yeah, in high school, my junior and senior year of high school, I took several dual enrollment classes through Wytheville Community College. Mm-hmm. So I went into UVA with 30. I think it was like 33 or 36.
Oh, 30. Wow, you had a whole year completed then.
Yeah, I was pretty much a year ahead out of high school. So,
and we must mention you are a George Wythe graduate.
Yeah, that's right.
As am I, but almost before you were born. I'll be graduated 20 years this year. And you're just 21. You were born in 2001?
Yes.
And so I was a sophomore in high school at that time, making me feel old. But you finished the degree in 3 years. So what is your degree in?
My degree is in cognitive science with a concentration in psychology.
Excellent. We need a lot of good ones. So what are your career plans with that degree, or do you have any at the time?
I don't really have anything specific lined up. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet.
So there's not an avenue you hope to go down with psychology?
No, I just enjoyed the classes that I took, and
right.
You had to grade in one of 5 things for that major, so I chose psychology.
Well, there is definitely a lack in our mental health system, particularly locally, and we need more mental health professionals in this area and in the entire country for sure. So that's an admirable field, in my opinion, for you to go in. How about with your athletic career? Have you had any calls from the pros? Does that even start where you are, or explain how that works?
No, I haven't been in contact with any of them this year. When I was in high school, I talked to a couple of scouts and filled out some surveys, but nothing really came of it. And then I hardly played this past year at Virginia. And this is the first year I've been draft eligible since then. So
yeah, I see. So
without hardly playing, there was really no hope of doing it, and I don't think I'm anywhere near being ready for it at the moment either. So.
I see. Okay. So no immediate plans then with your athletic career either?
No, I'm still looking for a place to potentially play and do a grad degree. But
you're thinking of attending graduate school. Are you leaning toward any school in particular?
The school I've been talking to the most has been George Mason.
And that is that near Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I think it's technically in Fairfax.
Yeah, on the D.C. end of Virginia.
Yeah, Northern Virginia.
Right. So there's a possibility you may be pitching for them as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go to grad school, will you continue with the psychology? You plan to go as far as a PhD, or how far are you planning to go with the psychology degree?
I'm not sure. I've looked at their programs and stuff, and there's some like sports management or like coaching degrees that I thought about doing, because I wouldn't mind to coach in the future as well.
Right.
And there's they have like a homeland security and like anti-terrorism graduate certificate that I thought seemed really interesting.
But you hope to maintain something within the athletic field?
Yeah, I probably won't go there unless I'm playing baseball. So.
Right. And are you limited basically to baseball, or would you consider other sports?
I'd say baseball is the only sport I could play collegiately.
I got you. And you are excuse my athletic ignorance, but you would not be playing any other position on the field if you had been a pitcher on other teams. Is that
Yeah, I would probably just strictly pitch. I haven't hit since high school, so I doubt I'll make a return to it.
And what was your experience overall playing for the River Turtles in Pulaski? I know last year there were a lot of local fans that turned up to see you, and this season I was there rooting for you. My family was. Did you notice a lot of local support this year too for playing for the River Turtles?
Yeah, I felt like it was very similar this year. May have been a little bit bigger crowds the year before, but I felt like there was still a great turnout every night that I pitched, and definitely saw a lot of familiar faces from home. So it was definitely a really nice experience.
And I think you told me last time that you used to go to the games when you were younger to the River Turtles, and then to be out on the field. Was that kind of a surreal thing for you?
Yeah, definitely. Because I went to games there back when they were still the Pulaski Mariners, and I went to some games when they became the Pulaski Yankees. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, I'd never actually played at Calfee until last summer, and even though it was just down the road.
Yeah,
I would have thought I would have played there in a high school tournament or something, but
it is about the only thing Pulaski has going for it, and I can say this because I'm an editorialist, is Calfee Park. And my friend Will Hensley, who I went to school with, is also a George Wytheville grad. He is a scorekeeper for Calfee Park, and he says that Calfee Park is the nicest park in the entire Appalachian League. So it's a very nice place to play, apparently. What was your overall experience playing for the River Turtles?
I feel like the summer before, in particular, I felt like it helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. Coach I was able to work with that summer was a former major leaguer that had played in the majors for 11 years, and I felt really good physically that summer and thought it through really well. And then this past summer, I kind of coming off of spring where I didn't play much, and then had a little bit of back issues. I didn't feel like it was as productive, and it was kind of a frustrating summer battling my body, and then didn't have the performance I would have liked.
Well, I may not have the athleticism that you have, but I definitely know about the back problems. Being wheelchair bound and being in a seated position for 12 to 14 hours a day is very, very rough on my back. So I can relate to anybody with back pain. So I hope that you can get that resolved, because that is, no one knows how bad that is until they go through it. So.
Yeah, it's been much better of late, but for a stretch this summer, I was getting treatment on it about every day, and even took muscle relaxers there for a week or two to try to help it.
Yeah, and that's not something that I gather you like to do if you can help. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I prefer not to.
Yeah, I have those as well, but I also, having cerebral palsy, I'm on a daily regimen because my muscles are in constant spasm, so I'm on a daily anti-spasmodic. But with your work with the River Turtles, you were definitely both last season and this season sort of the star of the team. Like I think people came out specifically to see you, and Calfee Park was marketing you as being a player so that local people would come out. Did you get that feeling as well?
Yeah, definitely. The general manager, JW, was really excited to have me, and he told me to try to market it as much as he could when I pitched, because the town of Wytheville came out to support me so much. So he definitely enjoyed having me there and tried to market it as much as possible. I don't know if I'd say I was a star player. The summer before, we had two players get drafted, and other that probably should have, and I think he turned down the draft pick and some money this year, and another player that played on the USA Collegiate national team. So we were very good last year, and then this year we weren't nearly as good as the summer before, but we still had talented players, and some of them just got hurt early in the summer and weren't able to stay around.
And Cameron Leary, I've met him. Is he still on the team? Or?
No, I think he was on the team the year before I got there.
Right.
And you usually go to like a different place each summer.
Every year, yeah.
Yeah. I was in Brockton, Massachusetts after my first year at UVA. And then last year, the college coaches send you where you're supposed to go. And they sent me to Pulaski last summer. And then this year, they weren't sending me anywhere. And the general manager at Pulaski had called me and asked if I would want to come back. And I went to the coaches with it, and they said if I wanted to do it, they would set it up.
Very cool. Very smart on JW's decision, who I agree is also a top-notch guy. Yeah, and again, must be pretty cool for you to be a local guy and getting to play with the local minor league team 2 years running. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it was definitely really nice. We had a few other players from last year return, but it's definitely nice to be somewhere where I'm comfortable, and because I know a lot of people on my team are kind of homesick or from Arizona or Hawaii or Canada. They were from all over the place. So.
Wow, even in Canada, wow. And you being close to home and having a brand new nephew, Emmett. I'm sure that's nice for you as well. Yeah,
it's been very nice the past 2 summers being able to go see him whenever I want, and especially this year, I think him and my sisters brought him to most of the games. So I'm sure that's hard for her to keep up with him running around. But
are you a pretty cool uncle? You think he thinks so?
Yeah, I mean he's probably coming up on 1.5 years, so. As long as we got someone to play with, I think he thinks it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a pretty cool uncle. So, with you being from here, do you have plans to settle here, or do you have any plans in that regard? Would you like to settle near home, or would you like to be in a bigger place?
Honestly, I'm not sure. It'll probably depend on what I do career-wise, but I would definitely like to come back here at some point because I love the area and love the people, but I'm not sure. It'll probably depend on what my career ends up being.
And I knew from talking to you last year that you're very shy, the most humble athlete I've ever met. With you being a humble, kind of quiet, reserved guy as you are, is it awkward for you to kind of feel like a local legend? Because really you have done your hometown proud. I mean, people are very, very proud of you, and I think that is a testament not only to your collegiate talent, but the sort of human being that you are. Is it difficult for you to, when you have fans and supporters approach you, like me, for instance, whom you didn't know from a hill of beans, is that awkward for you, or how do you feel about that?
No, I mean, I've always just kind of been a naturally quiet person. Haven't been all that outgoing, but no, I love it when people come up and talk to me about just playing in this area and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's definitely a great feeling when people come up and talk to me about UVA or baseball or talk about high school sports and stuff in the past. But I don't I don't know. I feel like it was definitely a great accomplishment just getting there in itself, but I don't feel like I was nearly as successful as I'd hoped while I was there, which I feel like is kind of disappointing, but everyone else doesn't seem to think that way.
Yeah, we're all our own worst critics, I think.
Yeah.
But do you have a lot of local fans like me who didn't really know all that much about baseball, but be like, here's sign this ball for me. We're proud of what you've done for the town. I can imagine a lot of little kids approaching you to sign balls, particularly while you've been here.
Yeah, I mean, especially the past 2 summers at Pulaski, I'm signing stuff for people every game, similar to what happened the day you came.
Right.
So I've had sometimes, like after a game, I'll sign a couple things and then go in and shower, and then like as soon as I get out of the shower, they'll be like, "Oh, someone's waiting out here to meet you." So it's been really cool how people kind of go out of their way and make an effort to meet me.
Well, it certainly meant a lot to me to meet you and to be photographed with you, and I believe that I'll be telling people about you in 20, 25 years. To say that I knew you and interviewed you. And how would you sum up your entire athletic career, and where would you like to see it go?
I mean, I had success in all 3 sports really throughout high school. I wasn't a great golfer, but I was a part of some very good teams.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to reach state championships, and then in basketball, we were very good all 4 years. State runner-up my freshman year, made it to the Final Four my sophomore year, Elite 8 my senior year or my junior year, and we were a game away from state my senior year. And then in baseball, we weren't very good as a team, but I had some success on my own and
right
for the high school, and then I had some success in the summer. So I feel like I had a very, very good high school sports career, but in college, things just didn't really pan out like I'd hoped they would. I got injured about a month into my freshman fall, and then I missed that entire season while I was rehabbing and working back.
Have you recovered from your injury pretty much from freshman year?
Yes.
So that has sort of resolved itself. Thank goodness, because I know that was quite scary for you and your family.
Sophomore year, I had another surgery in the off season, which was just a minor thing, but threw roughly 12 innings that spring, threw pretty well. Just didn't get a ton of opportunities, and then this past year I only had 3 appearances and 2 innings. So it's definitely not what I was expecting, especially coming out of high school. But hopefully, looking forward, I can go somewhere and kind of figure things out again and get back on the right track, or at least play some and be able to say I contributed more to a team or had some success pitching in college.
Thank you for talking to me, and it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot, and I'm really glad I got to meet you as well.
Take care, and God bless you in the future.
Thank you, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as Miss Emily Cooley performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright last gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land that free and the heart of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Avery Mabe.